Alright. Finally. Finally here. Okay. So I'm gonna finish the sand. Hopefully. Pretty late stream, but what's up, Muhammad? What's up, Fox King? I shall just say Fox. Why not? I'm trying to shorten names down as much as possible. Unless there's duplicates of the same name or similar names. Forgot about that. Thank you, Muhammad, for subscribing. I completely forgot about that. Is there any way I can change the title? I kind of forgot about that. The heck happened? I heard another notification somewhere. Did I hear? Am I going crazy, or did I hear another notification? What's up, Rafi? Okay. Okay, maybe not. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find something. Yeah, I have no idea. Where that came from. But oh well. What's up, EW? I am placing sand to 3 wide column sand, or 3 block column sand, whatever, I don't know what it's called, but walls to drain the ocean, or the water for the next section. I am using sponges. I'm just building columns for later to sponge the area. Because they're too big. Or the area of water is too big. For sponges to be effective. Three wide is the most optimal, at least what I've found in some testing me and my friend did. Was 3 wide is the most optimal space between blocks for sponges. It also kind of depends on how many sponges you have though. Actually no, it's actually more of a nuisance. Never mind, scratch that. I think just 3 wide is big enough. In general, no matter how many sponges you have, because of the amount of space. I think 7 by 7 blocks or something like that. I don't know. I think that's the limit of how much a sponge can soak up. But it's 7 by 7 by 1. Or something like that. I don't remember. I mean, enchanted golden apples still technically exist normally like they used to do in this version, but I can't get sponges any more than I have. I could technically duplicate them, but I'm not gonna do that. The game technically already did that for me when I somehow glitched it. Not, I didn't glitch it. It was a complete accident. I have about 100 and something sponges because of glitches. It's super weird. I have no clue how to explain it. Somehow I had my same sponges in 2 different places, so I like duplicated. I doubled my sponge count for some reason. I don't know how it happened, but it happened, so whatever. I've never seen it happen. I had like 2 players on there. I was doing my 200-hour time lapse. If you want to watch that, it's actually, if you want to see the entire process for for these sections, I time lapsed an entire section, and somehow when I tried to save and exit, it didn't save. And then when I checked back or something, I don't know, when I checked back or something like that, somehow I had my sponges in one of the shulker boxes and then a sponge in a different, I think in an ender chest or something like that. I don't remember. It didn't make any sense, but whatever. I don't know. It was kind of a pain to collapse 200 hours of video into 11 minutes. Which 11 minutes sounds like a long time, but I mean 200 hours. I forgot what the percentage of speed was. It was like 16,000 times, no, 16,000% or something like that. It was something ridiculous. I have no idea. It just didn't make any sense when it happened, but whatever. I think I have 120 sponges or something like that, which honestly, it doesn't really matter how many sponges you actually have. You still have to put in the time to place all the sponges. So it really, you still have to put in the time. And with this water area, I could place all my sponges here. I could take a stack, put them all in the water, put them over here, let them dry while I'm doing the other ones, and then while I put all those back, I mine these, and then take those back, and then come back, and then do it again. Keep doing that over and over and over again. If that makes sense. So, like, it really just doesn't matter how many sponges you have. I mean, I've drained an entire section with 17 sponges before, if that says anything. And it's not like it affected the time that much. Seriously, I've drained an entire... I mean, the section wasn't nearly as big, but at the same time, though, it wasn't that much of a pain. 17 sponges. And 120 sponges doesn't make that much of a difference. In some cases, that actually makes it longer because I have to mine all the sponges when they dry up. I mean, it's the same as going creative and get all the tools. It doesn't matter if you get all the tools. You still have to put in the time. You can't just use a /clear command and just destroy the world. Like that. Because this is console, you can't do that. Because there's no commands. But people don't think about it like that. They're like, oh yeah, who you get all these tools, you get to do this way faster. Nope. All you're doing, the only thing you're making go faster is the resource collection, which is not even close to the the amount of time to how long it takes to actually do the project. But people don't really think about it like that because they're pretty narrow-minded in that case, at least, or they're too focused on the fact that you're in creative and not actually thinking about what's happening. It's like, oh, slash fill. I forgot it's slash filled and air or something like that. Or is it 0? Isn't air 0? Block ID is 0. Slash, it's like slash fill, and then you do 0 or whatever. And then you do the whatever the blocks, the amount. I don't know. I don't know commands that much. God, it's not clear, or not, it's not clear, it's fill, because you're filling the world with air. That's kind of what I'm doing, actually. I'm making my file size smaller just by mining it. I think. Wait, I'm pretty sure this is my smallest world, which makes a lot of sense. In terms of pure file size. Kind of want to see how small the file size actually is. Slash fill, then it's coordinates, like Y, Z, and X or something like that. Or ZYX, I don't know what the direct way is. Slash filled, YZX, XYZ, whatever. And then it's whatever block you want. Yeah, slash clear is to clear items out, not blocks. That makes sense. I think I remember using that actually at one point a long time ago. So slash clears clear blocks, like not blocks, but clear slash clears to remove items, like entities, and slash fills to replace blocks or whatever. Either replace them or just make new blocks or whatever. I don't know. Something like that. I don't really know how file size is affected, I'll be honest with you. But I think I remember correctly, this is my smallest world. Smallest file, whatever it's called. Files, data. File size, the amount of bytes or megabytes or whatever. I think it's in megabytes. I think that's what the file size is in Minecraft. Alright, slash clear is just entities, isn't it? Just in general. So if you wanted to clear entities in the room or wherever you're at, you could just do slash clear. I don't think it's just inventory, is it? What's up, alternating? Pretty sure it's my smallest world, especially when I looked at it. I looked at it on Bedrock too, the Bedrock edition, because that's the only way I can really see file size that well. And I have a normal survival world I compared it to, and I remember quickly it was significantly smaller. I'll have to look at it again. Don't take what I said earlier with a grain of salt, at least. This part's gonna get really easy. I'm just gonna mention that. It's gonna get easier and easier because I'm getting to the higher levels of water. So see, I may even be sponging today. That's how easily this is gonna take, or how fast it's gonna be. However you want to say it. Hmm. I think there's a way to target entities. Maybe if you just do /clear only, like just /clear just by itself. I think it may just clear your inventory. I don't know. I think there's a way to target entities on the ground or whatever. With /clear. It could be a different command. I have no idea. Play on PS4. I think I'm gonna stream early tomorrow as well. There may be some pretty close streams together because I have work at 3 tomorrow. 3, which is super late. 3 p.m. Which is pretty crazy. Good thing the Thursday I'll have off though. Oh, /kill is for entities. So okay, so /bill is to replace block. /kill is to just remove any entity. And then /clear is for inventory. Okay, so /kill entities /clear inventory. And then /fill is for blocks. What do you mean wake up early? Oh, never mind. I think I know what you mean. I don't actually know though. Yeah, but slash kill isn't just slash kill, just entities in general, though. I know there's a different variants, but slash kills for basically anything you just want to get rid of. Or any entity that you want to get rid of. Oh, jeez. I'm basically just gonna be doing some lol, man. I've been doing this for 3 years, 3.5 roughly. I think just over 3.5 years. Also, this is a solo project and I'm not really planning on doing much else. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really not gonna be doing much else for a while. Except for this project. So, I think I'll have to pass for now. Also, welcome as well. Gaming with SI, which is... I want to make a analytical psychology joke, but I'm not gonna do it. I thought about making one. Oh, yeah, that's true. I was really confused by that comment you said. I was like, if 3 p.m. is late, I mean, if 3 p.m. is early, oh my god. For you then, jeez. Honestly, there has been a time, though. There has been a time, though, where it was, I think it was summertime when I had a job when I didn't care about anything ever. It was a horrible time. Yeah, pretty horrible time I had. No, I'm not gonna lie. But, I used to wake up at sometimes at like 2 p.m. or something like that. It was ridiculous. And I had work at like 3 something. For the most part. It was really sad. And pretty pathetic, not gonna lie. The amount of time I wasted during that time was beyond anything else, honestly. I'm talking, I would stay up till like 7 a.m. and then wake up at like 2 p.m. or something like that. It was beyond... Talk about waking up late, my god. Thing was, I was simultaneously being self-deprecating being lazy and being entitled at the same time, and being selfish. It may not have looked like it, but it really was. What's up, Jack? What do you mean good sleep being selfish? What I mean by I was being selfish is I was selfishly doing putting my desires amongst everything else and being super lazy about it. And entitling my time for something instead of actually doing something I need to do anyway. Okay, so my setup right now, I could have done this way before now if I wasn't. Being so oddly self-deprecating and entitling my time for just because for freedom. I guess you could say it's the best way to put it. Let me just say, my freedom, I was taking my freedom, not only my freedom for granted, even though I technically wasn't truly freedom, like free, as much as I thought I was at that time. But seriously, there's so many European people, holy Jesus. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I was entitling my freedom so much that I just didn't put the effort into anything, which turned into a really horrible mindset. While simultaneously being arrogant, thinking I know things, even though I don't actually know what they are. Which was really sad. So this is basically a do-over from 2018, mid 2018. I actually did watch, it was a track at some point, a little bit of track, and a little bit of cross country, not much though, mainly track, and some swimming at some point, only because I wanted to learn swimming pretty well, and I did learn it, at least a decent amount. Actually, I learned quite a bit, I'm not gonna lie, but to be fair, I did spend like an entire summer grinding swimming out. There's a lot of stuff. Actually, I take those. it was actually my longest break from the project, which was around 3 months. That was way before I even blew up. That was back in like 2018 at the beginning of the project. But yeah. I haven't really been into sports that much though. Swimming's definitely probably one of my most interesting, or at least in my opinion, the most at least the most interesting sport for me to delve into, I guess, from what I've watched, even though I can't really make really an opinion that much about sports, just because I don't watch them that much, so I can't really make a full-fledged opinion. I love when people try to be objective on opinions. It's really funny. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I mean, it's the internet, so that people always do it, but I mean, if you've really seen it, it's kind of funny. It's like, why do you like that? I mean, well, I mean, to be fair, there are some times where people hate to hate on things, and people love to love on things without actually having any reason. But, there's sometimes where you take it a little bit too far in terms of debating somebody on their opinion. And not, like, in terms of a logical opinion, like trying to figure out what the truth is in something, or the right or wrong answer. It's literally just, I like this, I don't like this, that type of thing. Not the other type of opinion. If that makes sense. Swimming in lakes is actually pretty fun. I would love to just swim, like, long distances. Not really, like, long distance swimming, like, in a pool type of thing, but, like, far distances, like, in a lake, or, I don't know, anything of that sort. See here, got some pretty good cardio though, I admit, from doing all that swimming. It was like god tier cardio, holy Jesus. I mean, I swam in Lake Michigan, which, I'm just gonna mention it was so cold, my entire body actually went numb after a little while. When I say a little while, I mean within a minute. It was fine after a while, after it went numb, but whatever. I don't want to know how cold it actually was. I'm not gonna lie. It was so cold that it was actually good, if that makes any sense. Like, there's a point where your body's kind of cold from it and you're shivering, but there's a point where it gets so cold that it's actually numb, so it actually feels good after a while. Like an ice bath. I don't know if you guys have taken an ice bath, but kind of like that. And I don't think I've ever swam in colder waters than that area. Holy Jesus. I knew it was gonna be cold, but that was... It was so unbearable at first that it felt good. After a little bit. It was super weird. It's pretty nice though, I'm not gonna lie. It felt really nice, I'm not gonna lie, just because of I keep saying not gonna lie, but every single time I swear. It felt nice just because there was no chemicals, there was no salt, there was no nothing, it was just water. I have not done that actually. Diving is very satisfying. Not as satisfying in my opinion as dolphin kick. If you guys haven't learned how to dolphin kick in swimming, I highly recommend it. It's super satisfying to pull off after a while. And extremely relaxing, especially if you keep constantly do it. You might as well build your cardio a bit though, because you're going to have to hold your breath for at least a little bit, because obviously you're going to be underwater for a while. So build your cardio first before you, or at least build it while you're dolphin kicking, if that makes sense. Probably the most satisfying type of like kick as you can get out of all the kicks that I've tried, in my opinion, obviously, but as long as you do it correctly as well. It may take a little bit of practice to get the movement down. It feels so nice. Well, I mean, yes, but when I mean chemicals as in like chlorine. Actually, yeah, chemicals like chlorine mixtures in pools or saltwater pools or even just the beach, like ocean water. It was so nice. It was just completely just normal stuff. Just normal. Like swimming in a lake, but actually better just because it wasn't really that murky either. It's pretty clear. At least somewhat clear. You could at least see through the water. Let's go with that. Pretty well, actually. Frog swimming is literally just what how you naturally kick in swimming. It's literally just one leg, 1 foot, one leg, 1 foot, whatever you wanna. I don't know. It's that natural. It's like an instinctual kick. that everybody, pretty much everybody does. Wait, breaststroke is... They call it a frog kick? They call a breaststroke a frog kick? What the heck? I mean, that makes sense, but at the same time, that seems a bit odd to call it a frog kick. That's an odd way. I've only heard it say breaststroke. Even in the Olympics, it's called breaststroke. It's probably my least favorite, and probably almost everybody else's least favorite kick. It's the most awkward one to pull off. It's one of the harder ones to pull off correctly, though. You could say butterfly may be the hardest one to pull off correctly. It's not that hard to pull off by itself, but if you really... You have to practice it quite a bit to get the optimal kick. The actual, like, feet kick. The double feet kick, or whatever. With one arm stroke. Or double arm stroke, however you say it. Arm stroke, kick, arm stroke, kick, like that type of thing. It's really fast. Seriously, it's literally the most awkward type of kick out there. It's even awkward to watch. I don't know who invented it, but seriously, who thought of that? Are you talking about freestyle, or are you talking about the breaststroke? Muhammad. I think the weird part after the breaststroke is you have to like dive down with your hands. You have to like put your hands together and then come back up real fast. You have to like, instead of going in like how butterfly, you have to go out with your arms. It's super weird. So butterfly, you start out, go in, but with the breaststroke, you have to go in then out every time you do it. It's super weird. With your arms. That's it. Oh yeah, it's really awkward. Artsy Jack. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't even think I do it that well at all. It's one of the it's the only kick I really didn't practice that much. Well, you know, it's actually pretty difficult. I don't have the room to practice it that much. Is the flip wall kick, where you have to kick off the wall, but you have to flip right before you do it, and then you kick off, or whatever it's called. I actually don't know what it's called. I haven't actually had the room to practice it though, which is kind of a... I don't have an adequate pull for it, because if I accidentally kick too hard, I could accidentally kick the poles. I have a very small pull to practice this stuff. I could have really, at most, I could have just practiced dolphin kick and the other strokes. You know, I actually thought about getting those, one of those, what was it called? Monofins, there it is. Those look actually really fun, especially if you get good with dolphin kick. I think those would be really fun to mess around with. Seriously? Why do they teach you guys that kick? Or why is that the only kick? You would think butterfly and freestyle, those are probably the most popular kicks. You could argue that butterfly is even more popular than freestyle because of Phelps. Because that's like that's like the kick that's recognized swimming because of, you know, he had the record for literally, I don't want to know how long, honestly. I think he had the record for a long time. He either had the record for a long time or I think he just popularized it. I don't remember whichever one. Because, I mean, I forgot how many gold medals. I need to remember some of this stuff, but I mean, I don't think I really cared too much to memorize what what happened. Yeah, I'm almost done already. It's not gonna take that long. Wait, what? Wait, what, Rafi? What did you say? How's that dude called? What? What do you mean? What does that even mean? Oh yeah, I know a lot of people start. I know one of my friends, I tried to teach him it, and that was one of his hardest things, was keeping his feet together. I know that's most people's problem with, or at least maybe not most people. That's at least my friend's problem with dolphin kick. It could be other people's problem as well. It wasn't even much of my problem. My problem was getting the actual full kick in from the abs down. Usually I went from the legs down. Usually you have to go from abs down. That's how it works. Or at least if you want to get the full kick out of it. Oh, Jesus. I forgot about that. No, I think I have to put this around it. The sand around it. Thought about not doing this the first time. Well, I thought about doing it, then I didn't do it, then I have to do it again. Michael Phelps? Is that what you're talking about? I mean, to be fair, that's how you do freestyle. That's how freestyle is. So I guess if you wanted to, you could just do freestyle. It's even trippier when you combine dolphin kick and freestyle. That gets weird. Oh yeah, he has the most gold medals in I think the Olympics, right? I'm pretty sure he has the most out of everybody, if I remember correctly. So history behind the username. My original username was Bedrock Massacre. And then after a while I decided to change it because I wanted to name the project Bedrock Massacre instead. Because of mining the Nether and the End. Wanted to make a trilogy of this project. So I decided to change it to mythical, which mythical is basically just a combination of mythical and mining, or mythical. So I decided to mine and mythical. So it's so I basically just combined both words, so I got mythical out of it. Oh no, don't worry, it's fine. I don't really notice the delay, but too much. At least I won't. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. You can ask. It doesn't really matter what time you put. There are very few comments on here, so I'll probably get to your question eventually anyway. There was a larger delay. So. Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that I could decrease the delay. I don't know what's gonna happen though with my internet. Hopefully it's not more intensive. I don't know what the delay actually does if I increase it or decrease the delay. It's actually really funny. What the heck? Okay. Or I'll fill that up later. I'll mess with that later. What's up, Fazbear King? I've gotten struck by lightning in Minecraft. It happened once. Ever. And apparently the rarity is, apparently it's extremely rare, which I was kind of mind blown by. Like, I can't believe how rare this actually is. I mean, it didn't just kill me though right away. It only did a little bit of damage. I barely remember it though. I remember it happening, but not much though. It happened once. I think it actually happened on Bedrock Massacre if I remember correctly. I mean, this is probably the best circumstances to get struck by lightning if you think about it. I have pretty much the most chances almost everybody gets struck by lightning. Just about at least. Not right now, but when I mine. Because I have open air everywhere in my world. Like, I'm not under any blocks or anything like that for the most part. I'm moving constantly, which could affect it. It could increase my chances, decrease. I don't know. Either one, honestly. Stuff like that. There's no trees. I do play other games. Play Beat Saber a little bit. Not too much. Smash a little bit, mainly with my friends. That's really it in terms of games. I do a bit of reading. I'm mainly just focusing on this project though, to be honest with you. Since I actually have a job and I'm finally getting some okay, pretty decent income. Yeah. Oh geez, you almost got struck by lightning in real life. Probably was. Because the thunder is literally right there. I mean, lightning usually doesn't make a noise. It may make a noise next to you. I don't know. I've never had lightning that close to you, but generally it's the thunder that's really loud. And if lightning strikes right next to you, that means the thunder is right there. How'd I go diagonal there? What the heck? Whatever. There you go. It's actually really fast. It just looked like I went diagonal to how fast I hit the button. I usually just read knowledge or information. I don't know. Just anything interesting in terms of knowledge. I've been learning quite a decent amount of IT. I don't know why I just did that. And I guess it's because I was reading, but still. Probably gonna read some history at some point. I don't know. I don't read anything that's like fictional-ish, really. Yes, probably brain lag. I like confused my own muscle memory there. It was like a glitch. It wasn't even a lag, it's just a glitch in my brain. Because I usually either put up sand or I put sand in the sugar boxes, and for some reason I decided to, oh yeah, my brain automatically went to putting up sand for some reason. I guess because I switched topic, then I went automatically to going to like switch brain, I don't know, motor function or whatever when I switched back, and I automatically just looked at it and realized that I had a sugar box open and my brain automatically went to sand to put sand back in sugar, or I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna like be a little bit more deliberate with what I learn, but I don't know. Either people don't have the time for it, or people just are really just don't consider doing it. I think most people don't see it either. They don't read either because they don't see any purpose in it. Or they just don't see any, or short-term purpose that is, or they just don't see any value in it. Which I guess is kind of the same thing, but, or either that they don't see the value in it themselves, or they don't see the value, they don't see other people reading, so it's like, if other people don't value reading, then I'm not going to value reading, if that makes sense. Well, they just find it really boring because, you know, instant gratification. And then you have people that think they know things even though they don't actually know what it is. Instead of taking the time to actually research it. Because reading can actually help you with deductive reason, or just reasoning in general. For some, at least for verifying stuff and all that kind of stuff. I mean, sure, well, sort of. Actually, you can just read to read, but if you don't actually know what you're looking into. I've done that many times, actually, where I read something, and I don't actually put the time into processing everything. I'm just super lazy about it. I just think I absorb information for some reason. I don't know where, but I guess, schooling, but because of school. I mean, there are types that absorb textbooks like or facts like a sponge. The problem is those people that absorb it don't really keep it unless they remember the book itself. They remember reading the book, then sure they can keep it, but thank you, Krogunk. I remember that video. I remember seeing I got that from my recommended. I have no idea though. I heard another notification. What is that notification? Okay, so did you guys hear that? Notification? I'm not going crazy, right? What's that notification? Yeah, but it played twice though. Like I heard one notification, then I heard another notification sound. I don't remember it playing twice, which is the weird thing. A while back. I'm gonna have to check something real fast. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick test real fast. Let's see, subscriber. I have no idea. I'll have to check. I'll have to wait till that happens again if a new person shows up. You say to slap a chicken to cook it is 3,725 miles per hour. No, I know it wasn't twice. That was a weird thing. That didn't play twice for some reason. You want to know a really insane brain exercise very few people probably have the patience to do is memorizing numbers of pi. Talk about quite the brain exercise, especially when you don't have super high logic. I mean, my logic's pretty high, but I mean, it's not like tippy top. Still takes a while after you get to like 40. I mean, I did a little bit. I've done a little bit of digits of pi. Kind of weird though. Hit 3.14. Yes. Okay, that's all digits you have to get memorized. Kind of fun. What's up, Brayden? Let's see what I can remember. Okay, so it's... You can count me on this if you want to. Check up on me if I mess up anything, because I'm probably going to mess up. Okay, so it's 3.145. Wait, no, 3.1415. 926535899. 38324. No, 323. Oh my god. 32384. 62643. 38327. 38327. 95028. No. 84197 939. No. God. Okay, give me a second. I really messed that up. Actually, I messed up really badly. I messed it up so badly, holy Jesus. Okay, so we can do this again. Okay, so it's 31415 92653 58979. A minute. Five eight nine seven nine, not 59. So you're saying it's also it's 3.14. 3.1415 92653. It's not. It's 58979, not 59. Literally any source. The pie guy. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, there's 31415 92653 58979. 32384, 62643, 38327, 950, 95028. 84197, 16939, 93751, and then 0 is 50th digit. There you go. That's better. I'm about to say, I was like, I don't think it's 59979. That's 50 digits. I want to go to 100 digits at some point. I don't know when I'll actually like put the time into doing that, but I do want to try 100 digits of pi. $50 digits actually didn't take that long. It's really tedious though. It's super tedious because you have to go through all the digits, but you have to add 3 or whatever method you have, honestly, to remember it. And then you have to go back through all of the digits after you add all of them together. There may be an easier method, but that's the method I found out too. Because you're just stringing things together. That's all you're doing. Extra credit. I think more people could do memorizing pi. You really just need logic. I mean, the way you can do it is if you type yourself, but I mean, there's a lot of people that I know actually are logical. And they think it's like the biggest thing ever to memorize digits of pi, even though all you're doing is literally just saying a few digits, repeating it, and then coming back and doing it again over and over again. Yes, more water. I have a water bottle now. I decided to drink it because it's old water, but whatever. Don't get me wrong, it takes quite a bit of effort. I guess if you wanted to impress a few people, you could do it. It's kind of fun though, I'm not gonna lie. It's actually really satisfying to memorize digits of pi. I don't know if it's actually worth it, memorizing a bunch of digits of pi, but I want to get quicker at memorizing it. Which I will if I probably will if I keep doing more digits over and over again. Especially if I keep repeating digits. I think the hard part was the 38324 and the 3238, or the 32384 and the 38327. I kept saying those backwards a lot of times. It's funny how people think caffeine's a great way to stay up, even though it actually kind of destroys you at the end. It's like a short-term benefit, but it actually isn't great. What I recommend people to stay up for, drink water. Drink a lot of water. It actually works compared to drinking Monster or drinking any caffeinated drink, because it's actually not short-term. I mean, I guess if you wanted to stay up for like, or not stay up, but get up in a couple of hours, it still isn't going to help you later on. It's such a short-term method to get energized. There's just better ways to, more meaningful ways to actually become more energized. I mean, sure, maybe once in a while, sure, but I mean, if you're just relying on it for energy boost, it's kind of ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the only way I would think is if you're literally forced into like 3 hours of sleep or whatever, which okay, I don't know anybody who could literally be forced into 3 hours of sleep or whatever, but you get the idea. Unless you're forced into drinking something like caffeine, which practically no one, no matter anybody here on the stream, unless you're literally, unless you're, I don't know. I mean, you kind of, let me just say this. If you're having 3 hours of sleep, you kind of put yourself in that situation to begin with. So, holy Jesus, that was loud. Hopefully nobody else heard that, and nobody's ears are bleeding from that. At least for the most part, you're still making the choice to put yourself in that situation. At least to some degree. I mean, there are some times where you literally have no choice, but that's a rarity. Some people may think they don't have a choice, but they actually do have a choice, which is really sad. It happens a lot. Like, I don't know, something like labeling yourself with like depressant, or not depressant. Label yourself with depression. Let's go with that. That's a great one, actually. That it's kind of just like, okay, I'm just gonna label myself depressed so I can use depression as a crutch. That's nice. Nice little... You're literally entitling yourself. Literally entitling, because you're giving yourself a title of being depressed. Have you thought about literally giving yourself a title? Entitling yourself? Entitlement isn't just a negative thing. It can be very neutral in this case. What's still kind of negative because you're still giving yourself a title because you're using it as a crutch. Literally entitlement. Using a title as like a crutch for something. It's kind of funny. People think of people think of people that, or people think of, yeah, people think of people that are being entitled, labeling themselves as super high, but they don't realize if they label themselves low, that they're literally doing the same thing, but opposite. Like people thinking they need to self-deprecate themselves because other people are very arrogant about their self-worth, even though they're using their self-worth as like a crutch. Like lower self-worth as a crutch. People need to realize that, like, whatever you think is the opposite that is bad, you could be committing the opposite, or whatever you think is bad, you could be committing the opposite of that, which could technically be the same thing, just being opposite. Like arrogance is a great example. Because arrogance is literally just exaggerating self. That's all it means, really. Well, I wouldn't say just bad day. I'm talking, I don't mean just like just being depressive. I'm talking labeling yourself and medicating yourself through depression. Not even just having a bad day. I'm talking just going all out. Like people think that for some reason they have to lower themselves down so they don't seem arrogant, even though they think that, because for some reason they think arrogance is only putting their self-worth too high, but if you put your self-worth too low, then you're still being arrogant, which is really funny and extremely hypocritical. When does it become pride? When you can't admit that you're arrogant? you're masking that which is kind of, yeah, self-deprecation itself is kind of masking the arrogance of low self-worth. I guess you could just say you just can't admit it. That's the best way to say it. Like, you can't admit that you're that being self-deprecation is arrogant, I guess you could say. Because pride really comes from covering up I guess you could say covering up your own flaws or insecurities. I don't know which one, honestly. Could be both. Because pride is you're priding yourself in your lower status, just like how people pride themselves in higher status. It's kind of the same thing. Arrogance and pride are pretty much the same thing, I guess you could say. Because the problem is, when people pride themselves over something, they're like almost entitling themselves to something, if that makes sense. It's like, I'm very prideful in this, like, this sport, this team is very prideful in, I guess you could say, I'm very prideful in my skills of, I don't know, you could do any skill, honestly. Let's go with, basketball or something like that. If you're prideful in your skills in basketball, you're kinda just thinking, oh god, I did not know about this. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this good, but okay, I'm gonna go with some more stone. Kinda hard to explain it, but yeah, pride and arrogance are pretty much the same things. Because if you're prideful over a team or something like that, you're like entitling yourself to that team. Oh wow, first try, okay. I don't really know how to yeah, exactly. Deserved. It's entitlement. It's like you're deserving. It's like, I deserve this because I'm very prideful in whatever it is. It's like people try to act like they're it's like, I feel good about this, so I should deserve to be good at it, if that makes sense. It's kind of like that. So they all really go hand in hand together. Okay, I'm gonna go get... Where did this come from? What the heck? Alright, also, somebody made an interesting point, about it. I'll look what you're saying, but, feel like self-deprecation is used as a way to outlet what they actually feel about themselves. Wow. Actually, yeah, that kind of is true. It's a projection. People can project themselves onto other people. Their own... This one's even worse. You can project yourself and try to have this kind of goes with it, but, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, self-deprecation, I wouldn't avoid it. I would try to avoid self-deprecation as much as possible. If you do it maybe occasionally, I guess, okay. I mean, just yeah, just don't do it. Actually, pretty much just don't do it at all, let's be honest here. Just try to avoid it. Because nobody wants to really hear about how much you don't care about whatever you're doing. Either you don't care too much about it, or okay, that was kind of a fail, but whatever. So somebody made an interesting point about a negative comment. So somebody made a self-deprecating joke, or a yeah, self-deprecating joke. Somebody mentioned about social validation, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it. So if you had somebody make a self-deprecation joke, it's kind of saying like, oh, I feel like this, and you're trying to get empathy from other people. It's like, oh yeah, same here. So you're trying to get other people similar to you, similar in social circumstances as you, to feel better, if that makes sense. Which really, they made an interesting point when I saw that comment. What the heck is happening? Alright, that was weird. They kind of roasted on them. They said like, so you're trying to get social validation to cover up what you were, cover up your I forgot what he said. I'll see if I can find the comment again, but it was a definitely interesting comment. If I can find it again. I don't even remember what video it was. Yeah, that's pretty much what people are doing. They're either fishing for compliments or they're fishing for themselves. Or fishing, not themselves, but people similar to them. They're validating their status. I guess their social... where they are socially in society, I guess you could say. They're like trying to validate with other people. That's also another reason why it's very, I wouldn't say harmful, but very annoying with self-deprecation, is that it can seem very manipulative with emotions, emotionally manipulative. Because it seems like you are fishing for comments, even though you're actually not, but at the same time, you don't even realize you actually technically are without even realize it. You can be manipulated without even knowing about it. People think of like snake oil salesmen as people that are super manipulative, but people don't realize that manipulation in itself is neutral. I mean, you manipulate your friends to laugh or something like that, get a reaction or something like that, that's technically friends to try to do something. That's manipulation, technically. It's not harmful, but it's not good. I don't know. It could be good. I don't know. Could be good, could be bad, whatever. Most people think it's bad, but it's because it's very colloquially acceptedly bad. Or collectively bad. I don't know how you want to say it. Yeah, exactly. It's a relation thing. It's a social validation. They're validating themselves, or they're trying to get other people to validate their own status so they don't feel as bad, and they're just trying to get other people to relate to them, which is actually technically a form of manipulation as well, technically. Oh, you know what's even worse? What about, like... It's actually pretty bad. I'll totally admit I have done this before. It's basically we try to one-up people in how bad something is. In, like, a situation or something like that. Okay, so comparisons themselves aren't bad. But when you overdo comparisons, it's a bit much. Especially when it's not needed. The comparisons aren't really that needed. It's not even a comparison thing at all. It's kind of like out of the blue. For the most part. It's like, okay, even though that's not as bad as the social validation or self-deprecation, it's not as bad in my opinion. You can get away with that, actually, a lot. if not most of the time. Sure, it can be pretty annoying at first, or quite a bit, if somebody does it over and over again. Comparisons themselves aren't too bad, it's just, I kind of regret doing it sometimes because it's not needed sometimes. Like, nobody really values that values your comparison to another person, really. Or nobody's actually gonna think highly of you if you make these comparisons. Nobody really cares that much. They're gonna either think you're really arrogant, because if you do it over and over and over again, or they're gonna think you're, like, compensating for stuff. Just in general. Could also go back to this, to the... not self-deprecate. I don't know. Actually, no, it doesn't really go back to those two subjects. But yeah, it's kind of weird. That's actually not a bad way to do it, is when you're trying to... You just have to do it properly. You have to do it properly or you're gonna sound super arrogant. You have to be super careful when using comparisons. You can do it though. I mean, I would say don't do comparisons in that case. I would say just say what you've done and you'll be good. Oh yeah, it could totally backfire. It could sound very, it could sound very... It could backfire in the way of sounding like you're just trying to downplay them. And then there's the weird competition thing, and the comparisons get worse and worse and worse. I think, okay, I don't think actually, you know what? Thinking about it, that's actually not a great way to help somebody or motivate somebody. I don't think that's the best way to, I don't think it's actually that great of a motivation, in my opinion. I would say more or less figure out, solve the problem without involving yourself. I'd say most of the time, generally, you just kind of want to point yourself. I don't know how to explain it, but it's more or less you probably should just, instead of compare yourself to them, just show them what they could do. Like, try to find a way out instead of trying to use you as like a way to, because that could easily, it could be back. It's like, okay, instead of somebody, okay, if somebody whined about it, you could say, hey, try this, instead of saying like, hey, I've done worse. I've done worse, I've been in worse. I mean, it can work, it's just, I just don't think it's as efficient as, just trying to figure out their problem instead of trying to use your worst problems, like comparing your problems or other people's problems, anybody's problems, honestly, with yours. It can work. It just, it just doesn't seem too much. I mean, in my opinion, this is what I would do when it comes to helping somebody. I would figure out their situation and then just add on to what they could do versus like, instead of just straight up, because you're not really giving them a solution. You're just motivating them, which, don't get me wrong, you can probably, motivation itself only goes so far, but involving yourself can just be bad because you're basically saying that I don't really know how to explain it, but I don't know. I just don't think involving your, like, trying to solve somebody's issue while involving yourself isn't that great. I would think just involving possible solutions versus a way of motivation. Because the thing is, they don't really care that much about your life. It's not actually helping. It's kind of just, you're just doing a rant, you're just kind of comparing a situation. Because they could easily say like, well, your life is different than mine. Like, you could easily just pull that. They could easily, let me just say this. Somebody can make way more excuses with you making those comparisons of their life versus yours than you can just if you told them the straight facts, because they can't really ignore that. If you told them the straight facts of what they could do, they can't really ignore it because they should know that's the way they should go. But they could easily make an excuse with you making a comparison because it's not them, but it's you. You're basically just comparing situations, and they could easily say stuff like that. It just creates more problems in that case, if that makes sense. It doesn't help because you're not actually giving them a solution to solve their problems. Because most people, let's be honest here, most people want to be told what they should do, not hear about what your situation is. Just the raw facts of the situation. Give them the good things in their life and then tell them how to fix the bad things, if that makes sense. Like, here's the good news. Okay, now this is how you can fix whatever you have. Tell them the light, give them the light, and then show them the dark, I guess you could say. Or give them the light and show them how to point that light that they have and shine it towards the dark. Whatever. I don't know, weird metaphysical way to think about it. Well, the truth can change your mindset. That's what it's supposed to do. Like, it's supposed to do. Input with comparisons doesn't really help because you're not actually giving useful input. You're not giving facts, because facts can really change mindsets. The mind of a person. That is if they can suck up their self-deprecation enough to actually listen. And actually care enough to listen. Now, if they have no choice, then yeah, just tell them the straight facts. Sure. If you know what I mean. Because it's about perspective. If you can change somebody's perspective with truth, then go ahead. Well, they still have to make... Yeah, but the problem is, most people don't make the choice to, for happiness. People don't know what happiness is to them. That's the problem. People can't see the light because they don't know what the light is. Which the light in itself is happiness. I mean, you could say, like, they need to define that helpful because they don't know what direction to turn to. This is the same thing. You need to give somebody direction. You can't just say, oh yeah, what do you... Because that's what therapy does. You're basically just becoming a therapist. You're not actually becoming... You're not a problem solver. You're just a therapist. You're pretty much trying to get them to solve the problem instead of actually trying to solve the problem yourself and actually being useful. If that makes sense. You have to give them the input and see what they do with it. If that makes sense. I'm gonna go get some more water for a minute. Get some more water. Oh. I don't know. I didn't even realize I was muted, I'm not gonna lie. I wonder how long I've actually been muted for. It's time to rehash and everything I've said. I really need to start checking if I'm actually muted or not. I wonder how long I've actually been too long. Oh, it was when I was getting water. That's what happened. That's what happened. I need to remember to remute or like unmute my mic every time I get water. Okay, so let's see. All right, let's see here. Let's rehash on what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, we're talking about insecurities first, and then wait, no, we're talking about happiness. So, okay, so when you're saying are you happy? That's a very subjective term because there's short-term happiness and there's long-term happiness. Short-term is instant gratification type of happiness, and there's long-term long-term meaningful happiness in your life. But the thing is, you can't really have both because you have to sacrifice, at least at some point, you have to sacrifice short-term gratification of happiness to get long-term type of happiness, long-term meaningful happiness. And about the insecurity thing, I was going to mention that was at least as long as you acknowledge your insecurities and you try to improve on them, then you're fine, and you'll start to have more meaningful happiness in your life. Just don't run from insecurities. Improve on them, or figure out what they are first and then improve on them or whatever. Let's see. Anything else I missed? Oh yeah, so the journey of happiness. Because the thing about it is, literally just the journey of achieving happiness should be, of meaningful happiness is, of the sacrifice of short-term. This is why it's always, they always say like enjoy the journey and not the end goal. That's pretty much meaningful happiness versus, short-term happiness in general. Because the thing is, you'll get the most satisfaction ever once you finally have more confidence with, I don't know, improving on insecurities or something like that. If you improved on them and got good enough, or got good, or you at least either removed them or you at least improved upon them, you start building confidence and you build happiness from it because you're building confidence, whatever it is. But and you have to sacrifice that instant gratification from whatever you're doing to go through it. Also, just to wrap your head around something, have you ever thought about the fact that not worrying, but um I I think I'll take the meaningful route. I would rather take it because it's a lot more satisfying and the journey is a lot sweeter. I mean, don't get me wrong, enjoying things that are handed to you, at least at some point, is okay. Enjoying what you have is a thing, but I'm just saying, long-term wise, throughout your entire life, focus on long-term more than just trying to go on short-term, if that makes sense. It's more just about focusing on what, focusing on what happiness. I mean, it's good to enjoy short-term when it's actually, just don't thrive on it, if that makes sense. And don't use it as a crutch either. Let's see, okay, so just wrap your head around this real fast. So, have you ever thought about deserving, not deserving to die is technically entitlement to, living? Well, there's technically no destination to happiness, so... Alright, give me a second. Okay, yeah, there's no actual destination, though. That's kind of what I'm saying. This is why focusing on the meaningful would be better, because there's no destination to happiness. There's only improvement. And that improvement should be happiness. This is where the meaningful comes from, is improvement in whatever it is. Focusing on it. I'm not saying you can't. This includes values, getting better values. It could be honestly anything. Really. I don't know about easier than others. Especially when everybody has the... Well, actually, no. I had to disagree with that. At least to some degree. Because happiness... I mean, to be fair, you just said it's easier for other people, which is technically also subjective, so... I don't know about that one. But since everybody has the ability to improve in something, then technically no. Or everybody has a journey, which that means everybody can find the same level of happiness, if that makes sense. I don't know, I could be wrong about this, but I mean... But yeah, it's kind of a weird thing to think about. I mean, to be fair, most people's objectives when it comes to happiness, like finding happiness, usually points towards improvement in something, like anything. If you've ever seen that before, of asking anybody about happiness, it could be relationships, it could be getting more money, it could be, for the most part, unless you're literally that hedonistic when it comes to pleasures and short-term gratification. Because remember, everybody has mental needs. And, it doesn't really... Because there's always consequences when it comes to short-term gratification. It's never been seen as good. No matter how much society tries to paint instant gratification as actually being somewhat good, it really just isn't good. It's like objectively bad. I'm just gonna say this straight up. If you need a therapist to find happiness, then you might need to do some more soul searching. And not rely on other people to find happiness or anything like that. Because you can still make the choice to try to find your own happiness and not have somebody else dictate what you need to do. Because it's your own happiness. I mean, a therapist can't really do much. Let's be honest here. They're not really solving anything. They're just kind of... They're trying to get you to solve it, really. Which can be kind of a problem when it comes to finding happiness, but... This is exactly kind of the point this kind of points towards, the point one I was talking about with the giving somebody direction instead of trying to get somebody else to find their own direction. Instead of trying to, well, actually, no. Actually, you can help somebody find happiness, you just have to point Somebody, you can have somebody else, just not a therapist. Let's go with that. That's a better way to say it. I'm not gonna say that you can't have another person. Let me just rephrase that real fast. And usually psychologist is probably a little bit better, even though they're not, even though generally accepted psychology is not that great when it comes to stuff like that. Let's be honest here. I mean, power in its own, I mean, power in its own is, I would say it's more like, what are your intentions with being rich? Because if you want rich for power, then yeah, power in itself is kind of short term. I mean, sure, it takes a while, but it's still technically short term thinking. The thing is, most people who want that power, generally, for the most part, I'm not saying all people, want power for the sake of power to, you can do it to help people, don't get me wrong, you could definitely use power to help people for sure, but for the most people it's usually to harm people, even if that, they don't even realize it's harming other people. I mean, you kind of, if you're living on a farm, you're changing your environment, you are kind of improving your environment. So yeah, it is technically somewhat improvement. You're improving your mental state, I guess you could say. You're clearing your mind through a mental state, which is still technically a form of improvement, so don't know about you, but there's that. It's more of like, what's the reason for doing something more than actually, like, you could say going on a farm, but there's a reason why they want to be on a farm. Their intentions to be on a farm. To improve, to do what? It's like, there's always a deeper reasoning why somebody does something, for the most part. It could be bad or good, honestly. Meaningful is usually good, and short term is usually bad. For the most part. Doesn't always have to be, but it points towards good. Not general improvement, but yeah. So at least at the moment, that's what I've seen general happiness or happiness in general being as is general improvement. Changing circumstances in some form of way to gain some kind of meaningful happiness. 'Cause usually, most meaningful happiness usually comes from no, either nothing to lose or there's, or they have nothing left. I mean, seriously, look at it. Ask somebody what they would, what their happiness is. Generally, it's changing something. It's either changing something or figuring out why they made a change in the past. If you look at it. Like, you gotta look at their history. A little bit. Like a gay, like a guy, oh my god. Like a guy named, oh Jesus Christ. A guy named Graham Stefan, he made a YouTube channel over finance. He really likes his money. Does real estate and stuff like that. And, he improved greatly from it. Because you can, here's the thing when it comes to, usually the more meaningful the improvement, generally the more happy you're going to be because it can butterfly effect into other things. Like, he made a YouTube channel, he really liked money, and he wanted to change his circumstances because he thought he would be poor in the future and unhappy because he was poor, so he changed his future and generally improved in his wealth. And then he taught on YouTube to other people, and then he found even more happiness because he took the long road, the meaningful road. What's up, bad pigeon? Yes, joining the army. What's up, Galaxy? I need to think a little bit more about the army because I had some opinions over war, but it was kind of meh in terms of the opinion. Because wars in general are also kind of meh. Yes, a quick 4-year. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not even gonna bash like being in the army, like the position of being in an army. I'm just gonna bash army itself, because they're two different things. You could, I mean, the position of being in the army and bashing the army itself is a little bit different, or just marine, just war. I guess you could say culture in general. Are kind of two different things. You do a sweet. That's actually pretty funny. I'm trying to get a better opinion of it, or at least a fuller opinion, I guess you could say, of war, or maybe not just war, but just the army or war culture. Not really army itself, just the culture of it, or the, I don't know, I just find it kind of insane. I don't even mean like the positioning to be in. I don't mean like being in the army is insane. I'm talking about like just army. Just war in general is pretty insane. Need to just point that out real fast before people get too because for some reason people think that like when you talk bad about something they're in, they think they're talking about them. It's like they put all their pride into one thing. Instead, even though I'm not actually talking about them, I'm talking about like what they're actually in, not really, or even the culture around it, not really. Not really the position they're in. Like I'm not, I wouldn't be talking about them. It's just, but for some reason people put pride into the thing they're in. It's literally religion. Some people would literally become religious to wars, or even army, to the army in general, or Marines or whatever. Like you literally become religious to wars and stuff like that. If you sink too deep into it, if that makes sense. If you sink too deep into it. And then you start trusting the views of whatever you're being sunk into, instead of actually just deducing it yourself. Not just deducing it, but figuring out yourself. Either their motives or what they're doing or anything like that. And when it comes to intentions, if you see somebody's intentions, just see their action and behavior over time. And see if their intentions match their actions. This doesn't mean that intention and action actually always match when it comes to. You could actually have good intention and match bad behavior on accident without even realizing it. It's technically possible. You do have to separate intention and action at some point, but they should at least should somewhat match. I don't really know how to explain it. It was a good thing I saw on intention versus action. It's pretty good. Trying to remember what it's called though. If you think about it, military in itself is actually pretty religious if you think about it, 'cause it's like you're serving for somebody else. It's like you're putting yourself with another person. It's like I also don't really know how to explain this too well, but it's like you're putting your faith into. It's like you're serving. I don't know. I don't know any religion, honestly. It's just It's like it's pretty religious if you think about it. It's a pretty good comparison to religion, is serving for the army. To some degree, at least. Actually thinking about something, isn't technically dominance itself short-term as well? Short-term gratification. Like if you're trying to step over somebody instead of trying to build with somebody. Like building yourself instead of trying to dominate over another person. Isn't that also, or dominate over somebody instead of building? Isn't that technically also another form of short-term? Actually thinking about what the heck is even the purpose of war? Like what's the intention with war? Really thinking about it now. I was talking about my views on war and stuff like that, and like military or war culture and stuff like that. And I was just questioning it just a little bit. So to really think about it, so if war had, if the purpose of war, or even just militaries in general, is for power, that's short term. If it's for dominance, that's still short term, which I guess kind of ties to reasoning, or it ties to power. If it's for comparisons, that's still technically short term. Also, if it's for peace, that's an interesting one, actually. That's an interesting reasoning. Isn't that still comparing, though? It's only comparing because it's like, let's settle this. If you're settling something with a war... Actually, no, that's not really... I don't really know. So if you're comparing... Not comparing. If you're settling something with peace, generally if you're trying to make peace with somebody... Ooh, that's actually... Never mind. That's a pretty tough one, actually. Well, there are only really, truly only a couple core concepts of why wars start. Core, I guess you can say core motivations. There really are only a couple core motivations. If you really think about it. Sure, there may be many reasons, but it roots to those intentions. There's always root intentions with something, which come back into reasonings. So there's only a couple of core root intentions that somebody could pull. The peace one I'm trying to figure out. You could do it for power. You could do it for comparisons. You could do it for yeah, power, comparisons, dominance, even, which are all three short-term ways. Actually, wouldn't just putting up a treaty be better than doing a war? For a peace? Like, what the heck is the point of war for peace? Sounds pretty contradicting, or not contradicting, but pretty, what is it called? Yeah, it's kind of just contradicting, not gonna lie. That's actually a pretty good point. It does kind of tie into, that does kind of tie into, I did mention earlier that power can be used for good earlier. So I guess in that case it actually would be, actually the only reason I've ever heard where war is actually somewhat a good way of doing something. It's kind of funny. People think power is actually the root of, or no, sorry, money. People think money is the root of all evil, and if you go further, technically, the intentions of power to money are technically the root of evil, like power for money, or sorry, power. No, wait, it's money. Yeah, money for power. Never mind. It's money for power, which the root of that power is technically choice. Technically, the root of all evil is really choice, if you think about it. Kind of weird. But no, I'm saying the people, when I said a treaty, I meant having a treaty for you versus another country, not having two countries. That makes no sense. That would make no sense to try to put a treaty between two other countries while you're fighting. Because I'm not saying between three countries, I was saying one-on-one type of thing. Unless you're talking about one-on-one stuff. Unless you mean one-on-one. If that's what you mean. I'm not too sure. Let's see. So if you put up two... Let's see here. It's actually a great discussion though when it comes to expanding my views on war though. Dang. Let's see. Even though it's kind of my opinion. Because the root of you wouldn't have to stop two countries from fighting if the two countries tried to agree with something in the first place. There had to have been a reason they had a war in the first place for those two countries before you can even intercept with those two countries to begin with. I guess the only argument you could say about war could make a country stronger. Which, I mean, I definitely do agree with that, but isn't there a point of making something stronger for the sake of making something stronger than having somebody else do it for you? I mean, sure, motivations are a thing, but I think the problem is it's still technically short term because it's saying that, yeah, it's not always gonna work, but it's still better than resorting to war. It's based on if the country chooses to actually want to be dominant or not, though. Dominant, or they want to, because usually if they don't accept a treaty or something like that, there's usually some hidden motivation or hidden intention that the other country wants to take or exploit from the other country. If that makes sense. But it really does come back to choice, though. Kind of crazy. You could say that root is the root, not root. You could say choice is the root of all good and evil. I mean, it makes sense. I don't understand why people think that money is the root of all evil. I don't think they're really digging far enough to actually even understand what's even going on. I mean, yeah. Yes, it is. You know, it's even even harder subject, trying to get somebody to understand what the difference between metaphysical and metaphysics is. Trust me, I've been into some weird subject. Or weird, well, you probably have as well, but still. Yeah, that's... Oh god. Or trying to convince somebody that time is metaphysical and not physical, which slightly frustrating. I'm gonna be stuck on that topic probably for eternity. I've been discussing it in my head for a while. Way longer than my than that person. I actually haven't talked to that person. I forgot their name was, but yeah, it's pretty frustrating though. I think I have the argument pretty fleshed out. I'm still debating on one of the pieces of this subject, but I am quite a bit though, debating part of it. Almost done. But it's not the root of evil. It's not the foundation of evil. It's like partial. It's like a... I guess you could say it's like a side effect or something of evil. Or maybe, no, it's a correlation. There it is. It's more of a correlation than it actually is a causation. Correlation does not equal causation. I forgot. I think I was talking... what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I mentioned how gravity is metaphysical, and then of course, one of the people in the chat had to be... Actually, two people in the chat really got triggered by it, and then we just went off from there. I'm still torn on if it's metaphysical or not, but I'm not gonna go anything into it. I'm really not. I don't really want to go into it. Maybe eventually, but at least not right now. Oh, one more left. Um, But it really does come down to choice, though, because the only way you can become evil is if you make the choice to become evil, really. Even if you're around evil people, you can always make the choice to not be evil. You can be good around evil people. If that makes sense. No matter how many influences, you still can make the choice to not be influenced by it. Does that make sense? That's why it's the root of... Choice is the only really root of all evil. Honestly, for most of human existence, choice is the root of it, of society today. So, root of choice really covers a lot of things, including evil. I mean, even your own mind influences evil choices, or evil decisions you could make, but you can still choose not to do it. Choice covers a lot of things. It covers almost everything, honestly. I know I'm being very ambitious here in saying that there actually is a root of all evil, but I mean, it's kind of hard to debunk that. I mean, I usually try not to make bold statements like that, not to that point at least. I try to be a little bit skeptical, but honestly, I can't think of another, like, root you could find with evil. Seriously, like a true root, like the originality of evil in the world, at least. The originality in a human being is literally their the super ego, but if you don't act on it, then you're technically not evil. So, or your dark side, I guess you could say, whatever it's called, could be. Yeah, I try not to make ambitious statements, but really, seriously, there's like really nothing you can think about in terms of, I mean, there may be something, maybe. still, I don't know. I'm like trying to be super pessimistic about my thinking, but also very optimistic about it. About like, maybe not very optimistic. I'm trying to be very pessimistic, but at least like try to make a stand for certain things. And if my stand is wrong, then I can just go back into whatever. I mean, that's, to be fair, that's arguments in a nutshell. Just don't get mad if your stand is wrong, because that's, you're literally entitling yourself to having somebody listen to you and take in you're like entitling yourself to being right, basically. Oh yeah, that could be technically considered subjective. But here's the thing. Okay, so evil in itself actually does have a scale to it, if that makes sense. What's up, Sarma? Because something that evil can't really be good, and something that is good can't really be evil, like certain things. I'm not saying everything is like this, but take for example love on its own, just, or loving your neighbor as yourself, for example. That can't really be evil on its own. Just that one sentence on its own can't really be evil, so it can only really be good. So if there's something that is objectively good, that means there has to be something that's objectively bad. Something that is good but can't be bad, I mean, it would be objectively good, but if something that is evil, then yeah, it's kind of weird. It's a very it's extremely touchy, don't get me wrong, but extremely touchy. It's hard to actually convince or explain as well, like thoroughly. I mean, if you, for example, gave somebody... Also, it has to do a lot with intentions as well, though. Which can kind of throw it for a loop just a little bit. Because it's like, if you love yourself, that means... Or if you love your neighbors as much as yourself, that would mean that it's good just because it's... You're treating others as you like to be treated. Which is technically objectively good because you're not treating people differently than you. They're knowledgeable. Wait, are you talking? Oh, perspective, I guess you could say. It definitely is good to have debates, just don't take them too seriously, because there's always that phrase of what you know. What is the phrase again? It's the only thing you know is that you know nothing, or something like that. I don't know, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it's like the only thing you should know, that type of phrase. That's where you should really just come to the point where and accept that and not really go too far. I should have learned that a while back. I've had a lot of times where I like stood by, I was being prideful on my thoughts because I was like entitling myself to people listening to me because of how good my thoughts were. Like, I was literally entitling myself to other people listening and entitling myself to agree with me, if that makes sense. This is why more people should listen more than they talk. You could argue like one of the ultimate realizations people need to understand is awareness. I'm talking awareness in everything. I'd say probably the one flaw that you could argue almost, honestly, not everybody, but almost everybody should grasp is awareness. Just generally speaking, all awareness, or at least in terms of like in terms of how you're affecting people, in terms of how you are affecting yourself. This kind of comes down to love your neighbor as yourself. Because the reason it's objectively good is because love your neighbor as yourself is basically just saying, like, you're ultimately putting yourself, you're basically ultimately equalizing yourself with other people. You're not making judgments towards people that you wouldn't make towards yourself, you're stuff like that. This is why it's objectively good. It's because you're affecting yourself or other people based on what you are doing on so if you treat yourself badly, you're probably going to treat your neighbor badly, which actually isn't that bad, because is actually technically good, because if you're treating yourself as bad and you're treating your neighbor as good, then you're just being foolish at that point, and you're either self-deprecating or you list all those points I mentioned earlier. Yeah, pretty much. People should just not even just self-aware. I would say more like external awareness and internal awareness, both. Self-aware usually is, if that's what you mean by self-aware, is both, but most people usually interpret self-awareness as being consciously aware of, because external and internal really comes down to awareness of choice, I guess you could say, which comes down to the good and evil thing. The root of good and evil, really. So, yeah. Kind of weird. Okay. I should have just enough time to finish this. I know. It's, I'm gonna see what I can do with the delay. Let's see if I can decrease it. Alright, yeah, I should be able to finish this. Like, awareness could cover listening as well. Awareness covers how much are you actually listening, and how much you're actually listening really reflects on your circumstances, really, your knowledge, any decision you're making, stuff like that. It could be anything. I don't know. I could literally go on forever about awareness thing. No, it's good. Don't worry. I'll see what I can do with the delay. But, not much. Just a little bit. I can't really quantify how much. Like, for example, with the external versus internal awareness, if I had more external awareness, I would have vision. Or at least my situation wouldn't be delayed, which was due to short-term gratification in the past, or even self-deprecation, or insert any bad behavior that I did, any unsocial behavior or any bad behavior that I did, whatever, honestly. Any selfish behavior, entitled behavior, all could have been if I had more external awareness. Of my circumstances, but I was being entitled to my selfish behaviors and stuff like that. Yeah. It's kind of weird. There's also people who have more, a ton of internal awareness, or a ton of external awareness, but they don't really have much internal awareness, so they make a ton of choices that, it's not like it affects their external awareness that much, but it affects their perception, other people's perception of them, really, if that makes sense. The external does affect the external quite a bit, but, oh, come on, I forget what we're saying. But it's more like how other people perceive them, more than actually explain, actually, because the external does affect the internal, or the internal. My growth in internal growth has affected my external growth, or is affecting my external growth. But, this is why technically internal growth is technically, it's like 60, I would say it's like 60% more important than 60% more important than external growth. 60-40, something like that. I would think, at least. Just because it affects the external so heavily, because of the choices that you make based on the bad habits or bad decisions, mental state, or bad mental state that you're in. But, wait, what do you mean by what do you mean by anonymous? Oh, never mind. I know what you mean. Okay, so I think I know what you mean. So the reason why is because people are ethical. Ethics really comes from that. If you're ethical, generally speaking, for the most part, generally you want to be socially, because ethics, it deals with other people's values and stuff like that. And if other people value this specific right thing to do, even if you're anonymous, then you'll still do it anyway, if that makes sense. That's where that comes from. Oh my god, how much sand do I actually need? This is gonna be sad, because I'm gonna have to, like, I'm only gonna use like 2 shulker boxes and then come back. Actually, I wouldn't say just ethical. Some people are affiliative, like myself. I am affiliative because of because I try to do the right thing. I mean, there's a lot of times I do veer off a lot due to my choices, but for the most part, I gravitate towards doing the right thing most of the time. Usually higher ethical people. I wouldn't say just ethics in general, but I guess you just affiliative nature, really. Just affiliative nature combined with affiliative norms. I guess you could say social norms. You could just root it back to social norms, honestly. Just social norms. Oops. If you wanted to. Kind of a couple ways to veer the answer. Wait, you said, oh, okay, never mind. You said don't. Shoot. Wait, did you mean don't or do? I didn't even see that for some reason. I apologize for that one, but, unless you meant do, but I don't know. To answer your other one as, I mean, the reason why people don't act socially right usually is because they're pragmatic. They just do what they want, or do what works, or don't really care that much about ethics. It could be the reverse too. They could just not care that much about the ethics or social rules. Just answer both questions, both sides, if you meant the other way around. I think this is all I need. I literally do not think I... So if they knew they were anonymous, I think at the start they would, I think they would actually act unethical and then become ethical later because they'll be guilty about it. That is if they are affiliative and, can, or very easily guilted in that case. Especially people who understand consequences, like certain types do. Especially since they'll feel even guiltier because of consequences. Some types will do that if they're affiliative. Ooh, geez, that was close. Okay, well that happened. God damn it. Oh, apparently I'm really bad. Actually, that's still kind of situational. It really depends on what environment they're in as well. Because most people who are ethical usually get influenced by, can get influenced by others that are around them. I don't know, but it's kind of hard to say. If you're like the most affiliative and easily guilt-tripped, then yeah, probably. Feel bad. They may not even do it at all. I don't know. Yes, no water. That was a weird noise, but whatever. Okay, I think I'm done. I'm not too sure though. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Am I? Wait. I'm really... I don't know. I'm not counting this. I'm not... Obviously, I'm not sanding this out. That literally will take like 2 sponges. I can't speak apparently either. Alright, see ya, Muhammad. It was pretty nice discussion. Way better than the other discussion, I'll tell you that much. Mainly because I'm a bit better with debates and stuff, even though debates in general really don't. Oh, I'm not done. Yep, I knew it. I was like, I swear there was something I was missing. Do that. I've never had a time where I really wanted to give up. I've had some external influences kind of hold back the time to finish this project, but for the most part, no. Not really. I've never had a time where I've actually wanted to give up on the project. So what's up, Norberto? Alright, thank you, Mohammed. Oh wow, this is kind of funny. This is a little bit... Is there even any point? Yeah, I don't think I've, Yeah, I've never actually had a time where I've had some pretty tough time, like, when I say tough, I mean, like, a bunch of external. Actually, it was pretty internal. I never actually. It was more of a break, a really long break, because I had really bad I was in the dumps, I guess you could say, at least for a little bit, mentally speaking. Alright, I think I am done. That didn't take that long at all. That only took, what, like... How long did I stream yesterday? An hour or so... 2... 7, about 10 hours, I think? Oh yeah, maybe the... Actually, no, I'm not gonna be the only person. There's one other person with the group of friends that is doing this, but... It's still gonna be insane once I finish. Just in general, just the sheer insanity of this project. Let's do this. Alright, I think I'm done for tonight. I think I'm gonna go in the stream tonight. It's kind of a blessing because the thing is, this project has some... If this project was never mentioned or anything like that, I probably wouldn't be doing it. Or if somebody else... I probably wouldn't be doing this project if Sword King 090 didn't start it and almost quit. If he like was consistent through all of his years and he had showed consistent progress and he didn't quit for 10 months straight, probably would not have started this project. But I mean, and another reason is because this project's already been mentioned by a couple people. 2 or 3 people, but it's not like I don't know how to really explain it. It has some form of... I'm kind of making into it its own thing now, though. Alright. I'm gonna be mining the Nether in the end. 7.5 hours? Oh, never mind. Okay, so 2 hours, 5, 8. Almost, well, like 10 hours. Sorry, what am I thinking? Not 10. So 5 hours. 5 hours of placing plus the 3.5, so 8.5. So roughly 9, roughly 9 hours if you round. I don't think it's exactly 5 hours. Oh yeah, this is gonna go down. I don't know when, but this is going to go down metaphysically in a good way. Kind of insane, but I mean, I'm making it something. I don't know how, but I am making it something. I guess it's just sheer will and dedication that really just brings this project out. Funny enough, people put way more time into worlds and stuff like that than I have on this project. I think it's just the perception of this project, just doing this one project over and over again for literally years on end really puts it in perspective and really changes perception of what this project really is about. Alright, I'm gonna take this as well. I almost forgot to take this. Okay, I think next is... Actually, no, before I do that, I'm gonna go, put all the sand up. Sponging is not gonna take that long at all, is it? Alright, let's see. Put up all the sand, and then I'm gonna... probably head out. I'm gonna be streaming very shortly, though. I mean within... Since I have work at 3... I could stream from, like, 7 to 1 or something like that. Something absolutely insane like that. I could put in a pretty good stream, which that's gonna be funny because that's only like 9 hours from this stream. People are thinking I'm gonna be streaming for literally like all day, which Depending on where you live, it could be. What am I doing? Oh yeah. I work at a Mexican restaurant for now. I'll be focusing on some. Oops. That. I'm just a dishwasher for now. I'm not really. It's not my main focus. I have to get it done to get money so I can actually, you know, do other things, but and build money to go other places and actually have some form of freedom. The pay is decent though for being a dishwashing job. It's way more intensive than my old dishwashing job, which paid way less, but I mean, it's totally worth it. I mean, I think this week I'm making, I think 33. I think close to 400. Yeah, 12 an hour. It's pretty nice. Especially since my old dishwashing job I made 8. And the other job I just recently had was way more intensive. Way more physically intensive, and that one I made the same amount, so. I didn't even mind this physical intensity, but apparently I couldn't, I wasn't exactly. I was kind of let go because of. I didn't meet their standards because they were projecting stuff onto me, but it was kind of my fault at the same time, though, so I can't blame it. But I'm not going to go too deep into it at all, honestly. I love how you hit that right on the nail. Or nail on the head, whatever. I forgot how the phrase goes. I think it's nail on the head. Or is it head on the nail? I don't know. I think it's head on the nail. I've kind of forgot what the phrase is. You make 12 at a call center. That makes sense. I heard call center is actually pretty difficult, so I don't know. Maybe it depends on the call center, really. I want to go into programming, like web development specifically. I already have some okay skills in it at the moment. I'm already putting my investments, my time into it, so. I'm mainly focusing on this project, though. Because, I mean, it's not a bad time to work on it, but since I'm actually finally working on something else. I mean, I do like Mexican food, but it doesn't correlate at all with the... I have no clue. I'm like bamboozled. I like bamboozle myself all the time. Nah, I'm good. I'll be fine. That's a lazy route to do it. Why not do it myself? Also, it's extremely satisfying. Myself. Can you imagine the fulfillment when I get done? You know, I think it's actually theoretically possible to mine a Java-sized world with world leaders and nether portals, technically speaking. I don't know how possible it actually is, but I think it could be possible. It may sound ridiculous, but I think it could theoretically be possible. You better calculate a lot of stuff, though, because Holy's uses that one. Because I mean, considering I have 20,000 people subscribed to wait for the end of this project, I couldn't even imagine. Okay, maybe not 20,000. I really doubt every single subscribers gonna be there, but I think there's gonna be quite a few people waiting for this insane project, at least the overworld to be finished. Alright, I think I'm gonna go and end the stream now. I think it's part-time or I'm pretty sure I'm full-time. I actually really don't know if it's full-time or part-time. I'm pretty sure it's full-time. Also, I thought World Eaters, no, what am I thinking of? It's like what are the things that, SickRPG uses? What do they use? I forgot what it's called. They're not World Eaters. They're something else. They work out of render distance. I forgot what they're called, though. Oh well. I'll go and end it now. I'll have to look it up.